Hey, today we're going to take a deep dive and break down a brand new trailer that looks to bring the Battlefield experience to virtual reality. This is exactly what virtual reality needs right now. Good quality games that appeal to mass markets. This game's called Forefront. Let's get into it. This game is called Forefront and comes from developers Triangle Factory, the creators of Breachers and Hyperdash. I've played Breachers quite a lot and this is great news. For those who don't know, Breachers is a super polished Rainbow Six Siege attack and defend style game available on Quest, Pico, Steam and PSVR 2. If you haven't popped into that game in a while, I recommend hopping in and just really focusing on how sharp that game is and how well implemented the mechanics for the genre are. First things first, this is a brilliant start to this news. I couldn't think of a better development studio to handle something like this. Right, so first in we have our first level in a nice green Icelandic biome. I'm not going to try and pronounce that village name, so we can move on. These are our first players. We have a demolitions class and a support class with that radio on his back, coloured in a tan military outfit. It looks like this game's going to be set with modern military equipment. There's a modern looking LMG with a fairly modern RPG, a little bit old school. We then get treated to a Humvee with a 50 cal on top. From this first shot, we can see that this game isn't going to have any shadows on anything that moves, like the players or the vehicles. It makes the game look a little flat, and that Humvee almost looks like it's sort of floating down the road, doesn't it? If those are the cutbacks we have to get this thing running in standalone VR, then, well, I have to accept that. I'm pretty sure Breachers is quite similar on that front also, and it never bothered me there. Jump a little forward and we get our fourth man with the backpack. I think that's the medic class that we get a closer look at later. More interestingly is the tank that's just rocked up. To me that looks like a near future tank, something a bit more akin to what you'd see in the latest Battlefield 2042 game. So now I'm a little bit confused as to why the dude has such an old school RPG on his back. Maybe we'll get some clues to that when we get some actual gunplay. Also, I'll point out those smoke effects in the distance. They sure look cool, but smoke is an expensive asset to render. I hope we aren't missing basic shadowing to make room for some smoke in the distance. We just got a glimpse at another tank, and now a couple of little birds have flown in, and there's a quad bike being ridden at the bottom left of the screen. The player count is 16v16, which doesn't sound like a massive amount compared to modern flat-screen Battlefield games. I think when you consider there was 2 at the start, then there's the guy on the back of the Humvee and its driver, that's 4, there's the backpack boy and tank, that's 6, maybe 7 if we consider an extra gunner in the tank, 2 more in the other tank, that was close to cam, that's 9, quad bike bloke, that's 10, and then there's 2 little birds and the dude hanging off the side of one, that's 13. Yeah, so all that on screen abouts fighting at the same time will make for a pretty epic battle in VR, I reckon. Righto, here we get a look at some of our classes, the other team, our second level, and a new vehicle all in one shot. A lot to deconstruct here. So new level, nice new biome. Looking at the rock, sand and grass at the base of that shack, it looks to be very different from the previous level. I love variation in the theming of levels, so that's great. We also get to see the Black Hawk style helicopter in the background. I would say, much like the tanks, that looks a little more near future tech with the pointy front bit. Looking at these weapons again though, they all look sort of 90s, don't they? Bit weird. I won't keep pressing on it. I'm quite glad, as I'm personally not a massive fan of future guns. So we have the other team. It looks like it's tan v black. There's our old school RPG again and MP5 for our demolitions class. They have a repair tool on their belt for use on vehicles to keep them fresh in battle. Next we have the medic class with the pump shotty and the health tool to keep players in the fight. There's the sniper class with the L96 rifle donning the hood just like Kapkan from Rainbow Six Siege. And then last but not least we have the support with the SAW light machine gun. Unsure what the tactical equipment are for the sniper and support, but we can probably guess support will be some ammo or something. There we are. Our black team is called OR. Look at this guy hanging on for dear life while the helicopter takes off. I hope we get animations like this in the final version. Touches like that will go a really long way to bring character to the battlefield. And there's the big red rock. I believe the company OR are trying to mine this red stuff for some reason, and it looks like Team Tan aren't happy about it. That's the law anyway. Like the time the government wanted to frack everything, do you remember that? Oh yeah, Fracked. That's a good VR game. That's by Endreams. Check it out. Where am I? Here we have Backpack Matey again. That's our medic in the back there. This guy up close is interesting. To me that looks like a support class. Remember that radio on his back? That however isn't the same LMG the other support guy was holding. Would that suggest you can customise the loadouts for each class, straying from the suggested gun? I hope so. More choice for the player, the better. This is a new gun also. Yes, check out the power of that 80s, 90s RPG. Not even a direct hit, but the residual managed to take out that tank and the matey to its side. Nice. Here we get a good shot there of the giant mining equipment being used to harvest the red stuff.
This next shot is cool, some sort of Stinger-like anti-air rocket launcher with lock-on capabilities. I'd imagine this is a rocket option you can take instead of the old school RPG, Old Faithful. What's really cool here is that anti-rocket flares cause the rocket to fly off at a wide angle. Love that. You'd expect it from a AAA flat screen game, but it's the little attention to detail that developers on these smaller budgets don't often have time to include, so that's nice. A new sight attachment here, your classic reflex sight. We also not only have what looks like an interesting spawn location for the black team, we have base jumping. Very cool with the rocket flying past as these base jumpers pull their chutes. Can see 2 other players ahead have already deployed their chutes and are coming in hot. Alright, we move on. We aren't even halfway through and we have our 3rd level with its own unique biome, love it. This looks to be an icy lake with a dam at the side and some sort of shipping container yard where combat takes place. We have a new vehicle, little single-man jet skis tearing up the water. Can we take a minute to appreciate how good this water looks? This has to be the Steam and PSVR 2 version, surely, as there's no way this water is going to look this good on Quest. If that is the case, I would expect to see some basic shadowing though, so now I'm a little confused. Speedboat with a 50 cal, awesome stuff. Look how quickly this thing dispatches those enemies. What do you think? That has to be just for the cinematic trailer, right? I'm sure you can tank a little more damage than that in the final game. There's a new sniper rifle. Here we have the SVD being used by the sniper class, while this jet ski flies over. Back to the desert level, and we're treated some first-person action from those guns on the helicopters. This is a really great angle to show you how the players and movable objects are shadowless. Bright level like this, you'd expect to see something. It does look like the buildings in the scene have some baked-in shadows though. That 50 cal takes down that Humvee in one hit as well, which, like the previous boat shot, I'm sure that's just for cinematic effect. Brilliant, just getting torn up by that gunner. Here we have 2 new weapons. Bottom left on the back of that driver of that ATV, we have our 3rd rocket launcher. That one looks like a Javelin, which is a lock-on rocket launcher that can do some serious damage to vehicles. To the right by the stop sign, we have a Demolitions class with that visor helmet, holding onto a SCAR, which is actually the first assault rifle we've seen. I like this animation pose as well, up against the wall. Posed for the trailer, or will we see it in the game? To be discovered, I guess. First bit of first-person action with a normal gun. Here we have a Glock sidearm. That is quite the flash, isn't it? I'm not sure if this is actual gameplay or like in-engine pre-rendered gameplay. The giveaway for me is that depth of field we're seeing on the right between the stairs and the pipe in the background. Ain't no way Quest is rendering depth of field like that. Back to the dam level with the ice and water. This support class is rocking the SCAR and a reflex sight, showing off the manual reloading mechanics. We've all seen this kind of thing before, but it's interesting to see the player charging the rifle, as that isn't a feature in Triangle Factory's previous title Breachers. In that game you just slap the mag in and you're good to go. Ah yeah, classic. On that little bird is a Demolitions class in the outside passenger seat, and he's repairing the vehicle while taking a ride. It's a classic Battlefield technique, and great to see it here. We also get a better look at this level here. Looks to be like a beach assault, and then an uphill battle up these buildings to the top. Awesome. Zip wires confirmed. This guy is shooting from the zip wire at the same time as shooting. That's awesome. Quite unique to VR that, doing something like zipping with one hand and shooting with the other. Right down the bottom there's a character in T-pose. Looks like that might have been left in there by mistake. Let's rewind that and take a closer look. Ooh, a second assault rifle I think. That could be an automatic shotgun though, due to the large charging handle. Again, wowzers, that's quite a flash taking up the whole screen there as well. There we go again, the support guy with the SCAR. In the background here we get a peek at something really interesting. Destructible environments in the background there. Half that building has been blown off. Feels like Bad Company 2. And there we go again, second building on the right lost its corner for sure. That's getting me really excited if we're talking about this level of features. Triangle Factory really going all out. Here we have another new feature. This trailer is just feature after feature, isn't it? Leaning out of passenger windows is a thing. I can imagine this being quite vomit-inducing in VR, so only for those with strong VR legs I'd advise. Looks like the Demolitions class here with his MP5. Ah, there it is. The Demolitions class repair tool. Here the player is repairing his tank while also leaning over with a new weapon, the iconic Desert Eagle. As I say, quite unique to VR this, that's the beauty of VR, you can use your individual hands while being separated from the camera, or our head in this case. There's some more of that destructible environments, bottom half corner of that building blown to smithereens from this tank. Okay, so this is our 4th level shown in this small teaser, and again another biome, love it. These levels are really shaping up to be quite cool. You get a good look at the full scale of this level in a second, but first let's look at this submarine in the back. So there's been a couple of levels in Battlefield's history where one team will start on a ship, and you can walk around the ship and jump into a boat in the docks or a heli on top. Here it looks like we might have a more simplified version where you'll probably choose your vehicle from some sort of UI. Obviously we're not all going to start on a submarine, and then where do the boats come from? That's fine, I can take this as a substitution, might even get you into the action quicker. We've seen those jet skis and boats with the 50 cal previously. Ah yes, look at that level, how awesome is that? So quick confirmation, it doesn't look like there's anywhere where we'd spawn on the sub to go find our own boats. We can see here though the Black Hawk type helicopter again, so this will be the sea and air assault. First thing I notice on the island is the big red patch in the middle. That's the ore that the black team are after in the story. Looks like maybe a refinery spilling red stuff into the tropics. Looks like there's loads of buildings to have engagements in on these islands, with the centrepiece being this radio tower in the middle of the main island. Down south it looks like the defending team may have their own helipad and helicopter to sort of counter with. And there we have it, Forefront. I'm super excited about this. I recently released an analytical video looking into what the most popular trends are in PC gaming and why we don't have those trends in VR at the moment. The top played games on PC are easily competitive online multiplayer games, and it looks like Triangle Factory have come right out and said, don't worry Dan, we've got ya. Anyway, thanks for watching, my name's Dan, see ya!
The hotly anticipated Alien Rogue Incursion patch 1.01 is now live on MetaQuest systems. Today we're going to check it out and see if it improves upon this already very impressive mobile chipset version of the game, set in the franchise we love so dearly. You can check out my full review for the good, the bad and the ugly right here on the channel. Let's get into it, shall we?